The information published an exclusive deep dive into Motive, a company that sells AI-powered dash cams to monitor drivers of trucking companies. Ahead of its planned IPO this year, our reporters looked into the extent to which its AI tools rely on people checking things. Joining me now are the reporters behind that story, Corey Weinberg, Deputy Bureau Chief of Finance, and Michael Roddan, our finance reporter. Welcome to you both. It's great to see you this morning.
Hey, gosh.
Hey, how's it going?
So, Corey, we're talking about dash cams today. What is the dash cam at Motive supposed to do? What did you find? Walk us through all the reporting.
Motive is one of the leaders in this interesting industry that's really boomed over the last few years, selling these sort of software-enabled cameras to big trucking and logistics companies. They compete in a world where you might know publicly traded company Samsara. They're another company that sells these AI-powered dash cams, and they are purchased by these large trucking companies so they can keep tabs on their drivers, so they can know sort of what's actually happening inside the cab and on the road. And Motive has this camera that is powered by AI. It uses computer vision models to detect when a driver is reaching for their cell phone or following too close on the road, and it's supposed to alert its ultimate customers, the trucking companies, of major violations that happen and even collisions.
So it's supposed to keep tabs on the drivers, basically, make sure that they're driving well. And I guess in the event that there's a crash of some kind, then I guess it alerts the company saying, "Hey, there's an issue. You got to respond to it." Is that the idea?
Yeah, companies want to get a beat on this, on anything bad that happens on the road. They need to know for insurance reasons, for dealing with the authorities, all that nasty stuff.
Okay. And this company has grown pretty big, right? I mean, you wrote that it's looking to go public this year.
Yeah, it crossed 500 million in annual recurring revenue back in September, and it's slated to be, unless the markets totally melt down, it's sort of the first major venture backed listing this year.
So now the crux of the story is how much of this is AI and how much of this is actual people in the loop. What did you find in your reporting about the people that are helping the AI in this system?
The humans at Motive seem to play a pretty important role. Basically, every video snippet that the AI dash cams capture, so whether it's like a potential collision or a stop sign that a driver missed, those videos come in and they get fed to a team of 400 staff in Pakistan whose job it is to review these videos in really quick succession. So they've got like a minute or half a minute to say, this is a real stop sign violation or this is a crash. And then once those videos are verified, they get sent to the fleet manager. And so these humans who are paid about the equivalent of $125 a month are central to the company's claim that we're going to give fleet managers the most accurate representation of what's happening on the ground. The fleet managers aren't going to be in the dark about when there's a crash or if they've driven past a stop sign or if they've tailgated someone too close. So the company talks about that a little bit in their prospectus. They call it human in the loop. But we tried to really pull back the curtains on this and show exactly what's happening, which is that this team of 400 people are under increasing pressure to improve their accuracy, make sure they're not missing any collisions, and really drill down the time that they're getting these alerts to fleet managers. So it raises this question about, how important is this huge workforce of people clicking on 1,000 videos a day to the company, and while the company is also making these big claims about its AI technology and the accuracy of it, it tells potential investors that it has the most accurate offering on the market. It captures 99% of 15 safety events, and that puts it ahead of its competitors. But we're saying it's just like, well, if you look at how it actually works, there is this really big team of, 400 data annotators making sure
Right.
that they're clicking on, 500,000 videos a day or something like that.
Corey, I mean, I just want to get behind sort of why these the transition from human to AI, and which of these ways of doing this job is actually more accurate? Because one of the things that surprised me in your story was you both reported the extent to which, I mean, both of these systems can make mistakes. Which one ends up being better? I mean, how many missed collisions have there been on either side?
Yeah, that's one of the really interesting kind of practical and somewhat philosophical questions I think in all this is by trying to use humans to really uh, drill down and nail the real edge cases that are difficult for AI to capture. The really long tail that sort of AI researchers would talk about. Uh, in sort of the pursuit of 100% or 99.99999% accuracy, is it better to use sort of these operation centers worth of humans, or will the AI models checking AI models be a better way to do it? And that's where there's some disagreement across the industry. We talked to some competitors like Samsara and some others that do it differently than Motive. Motive is certainly not running away from its approach. It's currently in the quiet period for its IPO, so they didn't talk to us for this story. But their CEO Shoaib Makani has said in the past that this is an approach that's working for them and it's working for their customers to get to as high of accuracy as possible.
And so, Michael, I wonder what is the bigger picture here around this story? You touched on it a little bit. I mean, this idea of companies marketing AI as AI when there are humans involved. Do you see this as a broader issue that the AI sector? I mean, we've talked about this with the robotics sector. I don't know. We've talked about it as much with computer vision on the show, but I mean, big picture, is this something that you are looking into a little more closely in your reporting?
Yeah, it's definitely like, AI is such a big thing at the moment. But I think this story shows the current limitations of AI and how rich and powerful it is. In a lot of cases, you still need humans working behind the scenes. In Motive, they've hinted at that in their prospectus, and the humans seem pretty central to stacking up their AI claims. But we've seen a lot of cases where companies have tried to, you know, pull a bit of like a hoodwink over their customers. So it's like there was a builder AI that collapsed last year, I think, who said that they had this like really powerful AI technology, but in reality, it was just thousands of sort of uh, humans behind the scenes in developing countries tapping away. There was the Amazon supermarket where people could walk through that was supposedly all AI, but there was a bunch of people behind the scenes tracking what the customers put in their shelves. Even Waymo, which I take and I really like. Every now and then a human will have to intervene through a robot. They have to phone in and drive the car themselves. So I think that like it's a good sign for investors to just be really careful about what claims companies are making and to like really try and dig into how the companies that say they have these like really powerful AI tools, how they actually work.
Corey, last question for you. You didn't have a chance to speak with the company because of the quiet period. I wonder if you did have the CEO and you had him in front of you. What questions would you want to know the answers to from them?
I want to know more want to know the more specific detail on their plan to lower the rate of human review on sort of what the AIs capture. They've said publicly that they aim to reduce it over time. In our reporting, we weren't able to kind of determine whether they have or what their exact plans are. And I'm interested in sort of this trade-off that they have to make around, sort of paying for humans, to make sure that there's 100% accuracy versus the drive to actually build technology that works seamlessly. I think that's something that CEOs across Silicon Valley are grappling with.
Great. Well, Corey and Michael, I want to thank you for coming on. That is Corey Weinberg and Michael Roddan from our newsroom here at The Information.